the active and inactive relationship. Okay. And I believe you must have watched this video, right? In my previous video. This is very specific to Power BI, okay, and this is not specific to data modeling. Okay, data modeling is a generic concept, but the active and inactive relationship is very specific to Power BI. So in Power BI, you can create at a time only one active relationship. First of all, what is active relationship? So with active relationship, you can propagate, or the system, right? The Power BI, Power Pivot, what it does is it propagates the filters to other tables. Okay, during a DAX calculation, an inactive relation filter propagates. Okay, so you have something called active relation, inactive relationship. Only one active relationship can be created between tables at a time. Okay, and okay, now the question is, why should I create an inactive relationship? But in the real world scenario, you cannot use only one relationship, right? There are situations you may have to establish more than one relationship between tables. So in that kind of situation, due to the limitation with the Power BI that you can create only one active relationship, still you can go ahead and create as many relationship as you wanted between the tables. For example, I just, in the interest of time, here itself I can explain it until it gets launched. Okay, let me just. So this is a table. Now this is a fact table, sales fact table, and this is your date dimension. Date dimension table. So in this case, you have the date keys there, okay, and you are establishing, you're creating a relationship with this table with order date. Okay, you have created an active relationship with this one. So, okay, fine. So let's say in this case, we create a relationship between these two tables using these columns. Okay, and so what does it say here? So it means the date dimension table can filter the sales fact table based on the order date. Okay, that based on the order date, it can do the filtering. Okay, and is there any way can I create more than one relationship? Let's say I have another column called ship date. Yes, that is also possible. The same column, you can use it um, to filter more than one column in the sales fact table. So this is a single date key column in my date dimension. The single date key can be used to filter more than one column. Okay, but here what happens is since I created this relationship first, this one will become an active relationship. But when you created anything after the first relationship, right, between the table, the same table, you can see the dashed line. So this is called an inactive relationship. So at a time, you can create only one active relationship. Anything after this, if you create a relationship, that one will become inactive. How can I identify which one is active and inactive relationship? By visualizing it. You can see a solid line between the two tables. That is your active relationship. If you see the dashed line between the table, that means that is an inactive relationship. Okay, so what exactly active relationship is all about? So in this case, what will happen is the date dimension table will propagate, which means copy the date key to this table. Okay, and then it does the filtering, based on the order date here. Okay, all the order dates will get grouped. Okay, in that way it can do the. For example, you have 1st Jan, all the 1st Jan related data will get grouped. Okay, and 2nd Jan, in the order date, whatever the orders we received on the 2nd Jan, that one will get grouped. Okay, and then if you want to perform average or sum, that is possible. Okay, that you can do it. So in this case, the scenario is I want to find out the total sales by order date. And also I wanted to see the total sales by ship date. Two different scenarios. In that case, to answer to the previous question, you need to filter this table based on the order date. To answer to the second business question, you need to use this table to filter this table ship date column based on the ship date column. Unfortunately, in Power BI, you can establish only one active relationship. With the active relationship only, this value will get copied here, propagated. Whereas with inactive relationship, it will not propagate the value. If it doesn't send any value from here to here, how the filtering can happen? How the filtering can happen? It will not happen. Then why should I create a relationship? Then why should I create a relationship and why it should remain as inactive? If it is inactive, it is not getting called. So yes, you can also programmatically enable the inactive relationship with active relationship till you want to perform any kind of computation. Once the computation has been done, this one will get reset it as inactive relationship. Okay, so on a need basis, you can enable the inactive as active relationship for some time, and then programmatically you can do it. And without, what do you mean by programmatically? Using DAX function? Okay, you have something called use relationship function is available. Use relationship function is available. With that, you can temporarily enable the inactive relationship to active relationship. Apart from this, we have a technique called role-playing dimension. With the role-playing dimension, you can duplicate this table. You can simply copy the table with different name. For example, I'm going to ship date dimension table, something like that. So in this case, what you can do is here also you have the date key because it's a Xerox copy of this table. Okay, it's a duplicate of this table. Only thing is the table name is different. So you have the date key column. So in this case, what you do is you create a relationship between the ship date dimensions date key with the ship date column in your sales fact table. Hence, you don't need this relationship at all. So in this case, if we see, these two tables have active relationship between this table. 1 second, sir. Okay, fine. So in this case, you just duplicate it. So you can avoid creating inactive relationship by duplicating existing date dimension table, so that with this date dimension table, you can filter the sales fact table by order date. With this date key column, you can filter your sales fact table ship date column. It shows the error. Okay. In this case, you don't need inactive. You don't need to create inactive relationship. Supposing I want to create, more than two relationship, right? Let's say 4 relationship needs to be created between these tables. You don't have to create 4 different, dimension tables. Okay, you don't have to clone the tables, multiple tables. You can go ahead with the inactive relationship itself. Okay, but see, there are two approaches to deal with the inactive relationship. One is you can duplicate the table. In this example, we have duplicated the date table, and then we created the direct relationship between these tables, so the sales fact tables, two different columns. Hence, these tables have direct relationship, only one relationship between the sales fact table. It is active relationship. It doesn't require any inactive relationship. The other approaches, no, we don't want to have duplicate of the table. In this case, it is fine. But let's say if I have 3 dates or 5 dates are there, I cannot duplicate 5 different tables. Though the date dimension table in general contains less number of data compared to your fact table, it leads to some kind of maintenance overhead. If I have so many tables, you need to do the backup and all. Okay, so maintenance overhead, number of tables will get increased. So that is not, if they don't prefer that approach, better you can create the as many relationship between the tables. But remember that whatever the relationship that you created between the tables the very first time, that is considered as your active relationship. That is considered as your active relationship. Got it? Okay. And the second one, right? After that, whatever the relation that you created between the table, that is considered inactive relationship. So to deal with this, you can temporarily enable the inactive relationship as active relationship programmatically. Okay, how do using DAX function called the use relationship. Okay, so that is the only option you are left with it. Okay, so now I will just go and show you how it works. I have opened an existing report file. This report file already loaded with the data, so that we don't have to load the data again. What I'll do is I'll just go to the model view. Yes. If you see the model view, here the relationship, yeah, you can see the relationship here. For example, here the sales fact table and customer dimension and location dimension. Okay. And you have something called date dimension. Okay, I just will focus only this part. Dim product, location dimension, and dim date. Let's not worry about this one. So here, yes, I have the date dimension table here. If you see here, we have two relationship created between these two tables. In this case, I have if I keep the cursor or if I hover the cursor on top of this line, we can see that the dim date table date column and in the sales fact table order date column got highlighted, which means I have created the relationship between these two tables based on these two columns, date and order date. And if I hold the cursor on top of it here, and if I scroll down here, you will be able to see it. Yes, the date and ship date, these two columns got highlighted. Okay. So, but since I created this relationship after creating the first one, you can see the dashed line. It is with the dashed line, we can make out This is an inactive relationship. Okay, fine. Now I quickly go to the report view, and then I just create a table visual. Sales fact table here, the sales amount, I'll put it here. And then the dim date table, date dimension. Here, instead of using the date, I'm going to use month here. Month, it is performing the aggregation on the month column. It is not the right way of doing it. One second here. Don't summarize. Okay. Here it shows the dim date shows the sales W04. Actually, we want for this one, the sales fact table. So we have created the date dimension table, but in this case, it was using other tables, order date column. Actually, we are filtering the sales fact table by the date dimension. In that case, the date dimension should contain the dates of your fact table. Okay, the sales fact table. Look here, this is your month, and here it is something like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if I sort it on the month, ascending order in the month. I just move this up. Okay, or else we will create another column here. This is my date dimension. I'm going to create a new column wherein I will specify the month name. Month name in text, okay. Format, here the dim date, date column, comma, here I'm going to say M. Yes, so here you can also create a quarter column if you want to see the quarter data. I just remove this one, and where is the month name? I'm going to click on the month name. Yes, I just move this up. We can see that April month, what are the total sales we made, all the things we can see there, okay? And here, okay, it is not in the proper chronological order. Let it be there for the time being. What I am going to do is I'm going to copy paste the same thing. Here, which column has active relationship? The order date column, right? I order date column. So now we were able to filter. Now the dim date table can filter the sales fact table by the order date, right? Which means what we are seeing here is the sales amount by order date. Okay, but we want to see the sales amount by ship date. So how can I do that? So you cannot use the same date column here. Okay. So what I am going to do is I am going to use okay. Sales by ship date. Look here, I have created a measure. Okay. If I already created the measure by the name of sales by ship date. I will just show you how to create the measure because I'm not sure if you are familiar with. See, to create a measure, you need to click on the modeling ribbon and then click on the new measure. Okay. This is one approach. Actually, the best practice is different thing that we will see it later point in time. I'm going to click on the new measure. So here, sales by ship date. Sales by ship date. I just say M. M is measure. Okay. For our identification, I put M here. And then I'm going to use the calculate. Total sales. Do we have a total? No, right? Okay. Sum of sales amount. Use relationship is a function, but you cannot use this use relationship directly. Okay, you need to use it. You need to invoke or call the use relationship inside the another function called calculate. Okay, in this case, what is the inactive relationship? In this case, the dim date tables date column, comma, and sales fact tables ship date. Yes, that's all. Okay. So here I have used something called calculate function. So here what this DAX function does is the use relationship function is helpful to to temporarily enable the inactive relationship exists between these two tables based on these columns as active until this calculation is done. Once this calculation is done or the computation is done, you'll reset it back to inactive relationship. Got it? That is what it is going to do. Sales by ship date M. This is the one. Yes, ship date by M. I just drag and sorry, we'll select this visual. Forget the first one. There is some blank value that we will see it later. And if you see here, this is the sales by ship date. This is sales amount by ship date. This is sales amount by order date. More or less, both of them look similar, but except there are some differences. In the December month, you can see some differences, right? December 8,350, 8,000. Okay, we can see some differences here. Okay. And here in this case, the month name, what I will do is I just go and select the dim date dimension table. So here the month name is not displayed in the chronological order. What I do is I just select the month name column and I look here, this is very important. Okay, sort by column. So currently I'm in the data view and I selected the month name column and then sort by column. I'm going to click on the month. And if you do it, the month will get display in the chronology. Look here, Jan, March, April, May, June, July, right? So Jan, Feb month, there is no data, it seems. Okay, yes. Okay, there is some problem. I think that is the reason why, it is showing something wrong here. Some missing values there somewhere. Okay, anyhow. So Jan, March, now it is displaying in the chronological order. Okay. And yes, these values, almost all of them are same except the December month, right? There is some difference here. And somewhere, right? Yeah, here also, look here, we received extra, and but it is less here. So the idea here is, the simple example is, you might be getting confused with the sales amount by order date and sales amount by ship date. You just think this way: you are ordering a product via Amazon. Sometimes what you do is you swipe your card as soon as you raise an order, okay? Or when you check out, you make the payment that time itself, okay? But there are some cases we order it, and what we do is we choose the cash on delivery option, okay? The date when you receive the product, that day only you make the payment. You make the payment only the day when you receive the shipment, right? So the day when I received the shipment, how much, right? So that is what we can see it here. So you might be wondering, so but in this case, both of them are similar, right? So both of them similar. So in this case, maybe these are all same day. You made the payment on the same day and then you received the same day shipment. Okay, you just think that way. Okay. So in that kind of situation, you need to create two different relationships. First time, the relationship, whatever you create, that is your active relationship. With the solid line between the tables, we can make out we can make out the active relationship. With the dashed line, we can make out that it is an inactive relationship. Okay, fine. So now you learned how to programmatically enable the inactive relationship active temporarily until the calculation get computed using the use relationship function. But with the use relationship function, you can enable the inactive to active relationship. And with the help of the calculate function, you can simultaneously perform the total sales for, by each month, right? So you can do it, you can compute the total sales also by enabling it temporarily the active, okay? So once the calculation has been done, it'll get set inactive. So is there any way can I see whether the how when the inactive relations becomes active, can I see that? You cannot see it, but it is taken care automatically. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. But is there any other way that I can instead of creating the DAX function, can I use any other technique? That's where you have something called role playing dimension. Another approach is role playing dimension. So in this case, a single dimension plays multiple dimension. That is the reason why it is called as a role-playing dimension. For example, in a family, a male is there. So male can be, in a family, a male is there. And then two females are there. For one female, he is the husband. For another female, he is the father. A single person plays multiple role there, right? Similarly, right, in the case of role playing dimension, what we are doing, so what it does is a single dimension plays different role. So in this case, we just you duplicate the dim date table, simply copy paste it, copy paste this table. Look here, already I did this ship date, okay, and I just go and check this table also. In this case, what I do is I just drag and drop the date on top of the ship date column. Okay, we have just dragged the date column on top of the ship date column. To cross verify that, keep the cursor on top of this line, date and ship date got highlighted. So in this case, this relationship is not required. You can drop this, okay? So now what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to remove this month name. Instead of taking it from the date dimension table, I'm going to use the ship date table. From this, I'm going to drop the month name and then the sales amount. And if you see here, yes, December month, October, November, December 8,000 is there. And whereas here 8,350 is there. But with the role-playing dimension, you cannot keep both the columns. Okay, the sales amount by order date, sales amount by ship date, you cannot keep it in the same table because you are filtering the sales fact table using two different tables. Okay, so in that case, you need to use two different visual to view the sales amount by ship date. To view the sales amount by order date, you need to have two different visuals. And but this approach, in this case, the ship date is nothing but the copy of your product dimension. Sorry, the date dimension table. Date dimension table. Okay. So the same dimension table plays different role here. This dimension table, date dimension table, filters the order date. This ship date dimension table filters the ship date column in this table. So, and this is called role-playing dimension. This is not specific to Power BI. It is a common data modeling strategy. Okay. Okay. So either you can use the role-playing dimension to avoid using the inactive relationship. Okay. But in real life scenario, you will not have just two relationship. You will be having three. I have another report file. I'll show you. Okay. The more 3 or 4 relationship will be there. 4 or 5 relationship will be there. So in that kind of situation, you cannot create multiple tables. It is a maintenance overhead. Okay, number of tables will get increased. It is a maintenance overhead. What better you can use the inactive relationship. We can. So now you learned how to create a measure. The measure you learned how to use the use relationship function in order to temporarily enable the inactive to active relationship. Right. That's all. So these are the two methods. Programmatically, you can enable the inactive to active relationship, or you can use the role-playing dimension. In the case of role-playing dimension, if you have a scenario like this, you can use it. Okay. But if you have multiple relationship, or for example, the date column itself, you need to filter it multiple date columns. So in that kind of situation, you need to create multiple copy of the date dimension table. It leads to more number of tables. And so in that case, what you do is directly you can create it. Okay. But make sure that the inactive relationship is created even if you use the DAX function. Just because you use the DAX function, that doesn't mean this relationship to be deleted. If you delete the relationship, inactive relationship, if you use the use relationship only, it will not work. It will not do the filter. The relationship still it should exist. The inactive relationship should be there. Only then you can enable the inactive to active, right? If you don't have inactive relationship, how can you enable it to active? So for that purpose, you need to have the relationship. Two approaches. You can use a DAX function to enable the inactive to active temporarily. The other approaches, don't use inactive relationship. Instead, you clone the date dimension in this table. In this case, okay. So the role-playing dimension with the another option, right? With role-playing dimension, in this case, you don't need this relationship. Okay, you can delete this one, still it will work. Okay. So active relationship propagates the value from one table to another table. Inactive relationship, it doesn't propagate the value. Okay, remember this.